The Ferrari LaFerrari, the Porsche 918, and the Mclaren P1. Have you ever heard of the holy trinity of supercars? Cars so magnificent and powerful that there was only 3 to equal one another. I need to test these iconic cars side by side in GT7 to determine which is the undisputed winner. When you visit Brand Central, you can find the Porsche 918 Spyder for sale, priced at a measly 1.6 million credits, and you can buy it without any invites. If you got the cheese, you can grab the keys. Now let's go over to Ferrari and oh, look at that, an identical sum of 1.6 million credits. But you need an invite to buy the LaFerrari. Not any peasant can buy this car, even if you have the credits. First, you have to be selected by the very rigged chance system to be allowed to spend your money. Does it make it more desirable? We shall see. Thank you very much for joining me today in this video. First, we need to do a baseline, so no better car to do that than the OG sports car, the Mazda Miata, a pure driver's car. One of my real life favorite cars. I used to own one, a 2016 model, in the same soul red color as this one, so I am a bit biased towards this car. I've been using Deep Forest Raceway as my testing grounds for a bit now, as it's pretty technical and also has 2 long straights as well. I find that it has a good balance to test all aspects of a car. As you can see right here, the Miata did it just under 2 minutes. I have tested these cars before, but never pushed them really hard. They were also on different tires, so I rectified this issue immediately, and I put the LaFerrari and Porsche 918 on race medium tires. Now first up is the Ferrari LaFerrari. So what I really like about the Ferrari is that it accelerates like a cheetah hunting a juicy rabbit. The car can almost not contain itself with excitement as it exits corners without traction control. That seems to be very, very difficult. I needed to upshift a bit early to avoid any wheel spin. Traction in corners is good if you respect the car and the laws of physics. This immense speed needs to be slowed down properly before you enter the corner, or you will understeer and check out early. On the stock suspension, the Ferrari does feel a little bit floaty when accelerating, which makes this an understeery car. Overdriving the car will come back to bite you. It is best to brake early, use caution in the corner, and unleash the fury when the car straightens out, as this is where the hybrid powertrain really shines. Little fun fact, Ferrari claims this car uses F1 hybrid technology, so the more you know. I'm glad the Ferrari has active aero in the form of an unconventional extending rear wing that opens up like an automatic shade. It needs aero because without it, it would not stay in this atmosphere. The car itself looks impressive, but I personally never really liked the look of the LaFerrari. Now, Ferrari makes one of the most beautiful cars in the world, but this model just does not do it for me. But is it ever fast? Now over to the Porsche 918 Spyder. A very, very different kind of car. While Ferrari was rear-wheel drive, the Porsche is all-wheel drive, and a bit heavier. One thing I noticed right away is the Porsche feels way more compliant. Felt less floaty and did not want to bronco me off like the Ferrari did. You can tell right away that the all-wheel drive system works wonders. The car feels more planted, and leaving a corner does not feel like a gamble anymore. It does feel a bit heavier, but this is a welcome addition to the Ferrari's looseness. And while the Ferrari has that signature screaming engine, I think this Porsche V8 takes the cake for best sounding engine. Just revving up to 9,000 RPM in a V8, what can go wrong? The Porsche feels more like a serious racing car, as it acts like one, while still being a road car. I also feel as I can brake a little bit later with the Porsche than the Ferrari, but that may be because the Ferrari is just so fast in a straight line that it needs more distance to stop from such high speeds. Interior wise, I feel like the Porsche looks better and less gimmicky, but that is a personal preference. At least it does not have that weird square wheel like the Ferrari does. After a couple tries, the best lap I could produce is more than a second slower than the Ferrari, so on equal tires, the Ferrari takes the cake. Now this was definitely unexpected. And now a surprise entrance, the Mclaren P1 GTR. Now this is more than a standard P1, so I knocked the tires down to a race hard compound instead of the race medium for the other two. The GTR is a track focused car, not built to be driven on the road, so one would expect it to dominate in this segment, right? I must say, all these cars in the video are stock, and besides the paint job, are not altered in any way, besides the tire changes of course. Straight away, the P1 GTR feels much more planted and stiffer, making it a great car around the corners. It is also not as understeery and feels way more balanced. as all things should be. The P1 also incorporates a hybrid system and is also only rear-wheel drive like the Ferrari, so getting up to speed is not an issue. Keep in mind that this car costs 3.6 million credits, so you can buy a Porsche and the Ferrari and still have some money left over for maintenance, insurance, gas, tires, etc. You can buy 144 Mazda MX-5s, which was our test car of course, which I think is a steal of a deal for the Miata's behalf. So now, the most unexpected ending. The Ferrari is actually the faster car on the race medium tires. The P1 handicapped the race hards on second place, and dead last, a whole second slower, is the Porsche 918 Spyder. So why would you buy the Ferrari over the other two? It is just straight up the fastest car in the Holy Trinity. My advice, buy 144 Miatas.